Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful truths in life is that you are defined by your choices, not by others' opinions. Far too often, people live under the shadow of what others think, say, or assume about them. Words of judgment, criticism, or doubt can easily pierce the heart if one gives them too much importance. But the reality is that opinions change with time, people and circumstances, while choices remain as the building blocks of your character. Every decision you take, whether big or small, shapes the direction of your journey. Others may call you incapable, foolish, or unworthy. But if your choices are rooted in clarity, courage, and values, their opinions cannot determine your destiny. Life has shown countless examples of individuals who were dismissed or ridiculed by the world, yet they rose beyond imagination simply because of the choices they made. Great inventors, leaders, and thinkers were often laughed at when they presented their ideas, but they chose persistence over doubt. That choice is what made them great. On the other hand, there are countless people with immense potential who gave in to the fear of judgment and never dared to act. They let opinions dictate their lives, and as a result, their stories remained unwritten. It is not talent, background, or even luck that truly sets people apart. It is the daily choices they commit to despite external voices. Every day you are faced with a crossroad. One path is easy, filled with acceptance from others, but may lead you away from your own truth. The other path is harder, often lonely, and full of resistance, but it leads you toward growth and authenticity. Your choices at those crossroads matter more than what anyone thinks about you. Choosing discipline over laziness, forgiveness over resentment, effort over excuses, and faith over fear, these are the decisions that shape an unshakable identity. Opinions from others are like passing clouds, but your choices are like seeds planted in the soil of your life. With time, those seeds grow into the tree that represents who you are. Think about it, people may call you a failure after a setback. But if you choose to rise again, you are not a failure. You are resilient. People may call you unrealistic for chasing your dreams. But if you choose perseverance, you are not unrealistic. You are visionary. People may call you weak for being kind. But if you choose compassion over bitterness, you are not weak. You are strong in ways they cannot see. The labels others attach to you are temporary sounds, but the choices you make are eternal echoes that define your character. It takes courage to stop seeking validation from others and start trusting your own decisions. It requires self-awareness to know what truly matters to you and the willpower to walk that path regardless of the noise around you. Life is too short to let opinions chain you down. At the end of the day, those who judge you will not walk in your shoes. They will not live your struggles, and they will not fight your battles. But you will. And when you stand at the end of your journey, the only thing that will matter is not what they thought about you, but what you chose to do with the life you were given. So never forget, you are not the whispers of other people's opinions. You are the sum total of the choices you make every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in the toughest moments of life that true strength is born. Because hardship builds resilience. No one becomes strong by walking on a smooth path where everything is predictable and easy. Strength comes when the road gets rough, when the storms arrive without warning, and when life demands more from you than you ever thought you could give. Hardship may not be pleasant, and at times it may feel unbearable, but it carries within it the gift of resilience. Every challenge is an opportunity to sharpen your spirit, strengthen your will, and rise higher than you did before. Without difficulty, there is no growth, and without struggle, there is no strength. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. For it to grow into a mighty tree, it must push through the heavy dirt above it. That struggle is what allows it to break free and reach the sunlight. In the same way, every hardship you face is like that soil pressing down on you. It feels heavy, it feels suffocating, but it is preparing you to break through into a stronger version of yourself. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something life teaches you through pain, rejection, failure, and loss. Each time you endure, you expand your capacity to handle more. You prove to yourself that what once seemed impossible can actually be conquered. History is filled with countless stories of men and women who turned adversity into strength. They were not spared from hardship, they were forged by it. Every failure taught them perseverance. Every setback sharpened their determination. Every rejection reminded them that their worth was not in the approval of others, but in their own persistence. It is not comfort that makes someone great, it is the struggle. When you are tested beyond your limits, you discover that your limits were only illusions. Hardship introduces you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. It teaches you patience when things take longer than you planned. It teaches you courage when fear tries to stop you. It teaches you faith when the path ahead is unclear. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about learning to bend without breaking. Life will knock you down, but resilience helps you rise again and again until standing becomes natural. It transforms scars into symbols of survival and wounds into wisdom. Every time you get back up, you gain confidence in your ability to handle life's challenges. Slowly, hardship stops being something you fear and becomes something you welcome as a teacher. You begin to realize that storms don't come to destroy you, but to strengthen your roots. In your journey, hardships are inevitable. No one can escape them, and no one should want to. Imagine a life with no struggles at all. Such a life would leave you weak, unprepared, and vulnerable. Hardship builds resilience the way fire purifies gold. The more you face, the more unshakable you become. The resilience you build today becomes the foundation of your tomorrow. And so, when difficulties come, do not see them as enemies, but as allies pushing you to grow stronger. Every trial you endure adds another layer of strength, courage, and wisdom to your character. That is why, in the end, hardship is not your downfall, it is your making. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest battles are not fought on battlefields or in boardrooms. They are fought within the mind and the heart, because inner battles decide outer victories. Before you can conquer the challenges that stand before you in the world, you must first conquer the doubts, fears, and insecurities that live within you. Life is not just about overcoming obstacles outside. It is about silencing the voice inside that says you are not good enough, strong enough, or worthy enough. Once you win within, no power outside can defeat you. Every person dreams of success, fulfillment, and peace. But those dreams often collapse, not because the external world is too harsh, but because the internal world is too fragile. When fear whispers that you cannot, when doubt screams that you will fail, and when insecurity makes you feel small, your inner strength is tested. The truth is that no amount of talent, knowledge, or opportunity can bring you victory if your inner battles are left unresolved. Courage is not about the absence of fear. It is about choosing to move forward despite fear. Confidence is not about knowing you will never fail. It is about believing that even if you fall, you can rise again. These qualities are born inside, and only when you master them can you manifest true success outside. Think of a soldier who enters a battlefield with the finest weapons, but lacks faith in his ability to win. His equipment will not save him if his mind has already surrendered. Similarly, think of a leader with resources and influence, but trapped in the prison of self-doubt. No matter how powerful the opportunities, without inner clarity and conviction, they crumble. On the other hand, someone who is internally strong can rise from nothing and still create greatness. History remembers ordinary men and women who faced extraordinary odds, not because the world was in their favor, but because they first achieved victory in their minds and hearts. Winning the inner battle requires discipline over your thoughts, control over your emotions, and mastery over your impulses. When anger tries to control you, patience is your weapon. When despair tries to consume you, hope becomes your shield. When fear chains you down, faith breaks those chains. These are the inner victories that prepare you for outer success. Without them, even small challenges feel overwhelming, but with them, even mountains seem possible to climb. The real enemy is not outside. It is the self-doubt, the negativity, and the weakness inside that tries to paralyze your potential. Life will constantly bring storms, criticism from others, unexpected failures, broken plans, and unfair circumstances. You cannot always control these outer events, but you can control how you react to them. That reaction is the battle inside you. If you choose strength over weakness, hope over despair, and action over fear, you will win every time. But if you surrender within, then even before life has tested you, you have already lost. The moment you learn to stand tall inside, outer circumstances begin to bend in your favor. So remember this truth: success begins within. The wars you win against fear, negativity, and self-doubt prepare you for the triumphs the world will one day witness. When you master the storm inside, no storm outside can ever sink you. Inner battles always decide outer victories, and those who choose to fight and win within themselves unlock a power that nothing in this world can ever break. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind is the control center of your life. And just like the body requires daily exercise to stay healthy and strong, the mind too requires consistent training. Daily mental training is essential because without it, the mind becomes weak, distracted, and vulnerable to negativity. In today's fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and challenges that can overwhelm us if our mind is not disciplined. Just as muscles grow with regular exercise, resilience, focus, and clarity grow when the mind is trained daily. The strength of your thoughts determines the strength of your actions, and therefore the quality of your life. When you wake up each morning, your mind is like fertile soil waiting for seeds to be planted. If you do not intentionally plant seeds of positivity, discipline, and purpose, weeds of doubt, fear, and distraction will naturally grow. That is why mental training every single day is not optional, it is necessary. By setting aside time for reflection, affirmations, gratitude, or meditation, you are building a shield around your mind that protects you from the storms of negativity. Without this discipline, even small problems can feel overwhelming. With it, even great challenges can be faced with courage and clarity. Consider athletes who train their bodies rigorously. Their performance in the field is not decided on the day of the game. It is decided in the countless hours of preparation they commit to before that day. The same is true with life. The way you handle stress, setbacks, and pressure is not decided in that moment. It is decided by how much you have trained your mind before those challenges arise. Daily practice of mental strength ensures that when life throws difficulties at you, you respond with calmness instead of panic, with faith instead of fear, and with persistence instead of surrender. Mental training also sharpens focus. In a world full of distractions, the ability to direct your thoughts and energy toward what truly matters is a priceless skill. Every day, people waste hours consumed by worries about the past or fears about the future. But those who discipline their mind remain anchored in the present. This focus allows them to maximize their potential and make progress where others remain stagnant. It is not talent alone that separates achievers from dreamers. It is the ability to train the mind daily to stay committed, focused, and determined. Another reason daily mental training is essential is because life is unpredictable. No one knows what challenges tomorrow will bring, but preparation ensures you are never unarmed. A strong mind becomes like an anchor in turbulent seas. When uncertainty comes, it holds you steady. When failure strikes, it helps you rise again. When criticism arrives, it protects you from discouragement. Such strength does not appear suddenly. It is cultivated every single day through intentional practice. At the end of the day, your external success will always be a reflection of your internal strength. If you want peace, you must train your mind for calmness. If you want success, you must train your mind for discipline. If you want resilience, you must train your mind to endure. This daily effort is the unseen foundation of greatness. Just like you would not neglect feeding your body, you cannot afford to neglect feeding your mind. Daily mental training is not just a habit, it is a necessity. And those who commit to it will find themselves prepared for whatever life places in their path. Ladies and gentlemen, words have power, and when those words are directed inward as affirmations, they shape the way you think, feel, and act. Affirmations create inner power because they reprogram the mind to believe in strength rather than weakness, hope rather than despair, and possibility rather than limitation. Every day, the mind is exposed to countless voices, some from the outside world and many from within, that often speak of doubt, fear, and insecurity. If these voices are left unchallenged, they create chains that hold you back from becoming your best self. Affirmations break those chains by planting empowering thoughts that transform your inner world and ultimately your outer life. The mind naturally believes what it repeatedly hears. If you constantly tell yourself you are not good enough, your actions will reflect that belief. If you constantly repeat that you are capable, resilient, and worthy, your confidence and determination will rise to match those words. Affirmations act like seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious. With repetition and belief, they grow into unshakable confidence and inner strength. It is not magic, it is the science of conditioning your mind. Just as consistent training builds physical muscles, consistent affirmations build mental and emotional muscles that help you stand strong when life becomes difficult. Think of how often people allow negative words to define them. A single insult or a harsh opinion can echo in the mind for years, draining confidence and self-worth. Yet, when you intentionally use affirmations such as, I am strong, I am capable, or I can rise above this, you begin to override the negative programming. It is like turning on a light in a dark room. The darkness cannot stay where light shines. Affirmations are that light. They push out self-doubt and replace it with self-belief. Affirmations also create clarity in the face of chaos. When you affirm daily that you are focused and disciplined, your actions begin to align with that belief. When you affirm that you are resilient, challenges no longer feel like barriers, but like opportunities to prove your strength. The more you affirm these truths, the more your mind shifts from seeing obstacles to seeing possibilities. Over time, you stop waiting for external validation because you have already validated yourself. You realize that the greatest power lies not in what others call you, but in what you call yourself. There is also a powerful emotional impact. When spoken with conviction, affirmations uplift your spirit. They remind you that setbacks are temporary, that strength is already within you, and that you are capable of rising no matter how hard life knocks you down. In moments of fear, affirmations give courage. In moments of doubt, they restore faith. In moments of weakness, they ignite determination. This is why people who practice affirmations daily often radiate confidence and positivity, because they have trained their inner voice to be their greatest supporter rather than their harshest critic. In the end, affirmations are not just words, they are declarations of identity. Every time you affirm something positive about yourself, you are shaping who you are becoming. By repeating empowering words with belief and consistency, you unlock a reservoir of inner power that no obstacle, no failure, and no criticism can take away. The world may try to bring you down, but if your inner dialogue is filled with affirmations of strength and resilience, nothing can keep you down for long. Affirmations create inner power, and that power becomes the foundation of an unshakable life. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest truths you can ever realize is that no one can break you without your permission. Life is full of challenges, criticism, and opposition, but none of these things hold the power to destroy you unless you allow them to. People may insult you, circumstances may push you down, and failures may wound your spirit, yet the decision to remain broken or to rise again always rests in your hands. Your inner strength is your shield, and as long as you protect it, no external force can shatter you. Too many people give away their power by letting the words and actions of others define their worth. A harsh comment becomes a lifelong wound. A betrayal becomes a permanent scar, and a failure becomes the end of their confidence. But when you pause and reflect, you realize that these events only break you if you hand them the permission to enter your heart unchecked. No one's opinion can reduce your value unless you choose to believe it. No setback can define your future unless you choose to surrender to it. The world may test you, but it cannot decide for you. Strength is not about avoiding pain, it is about choosing not to let pain control you. When someone tries to belittle you, you can either accept their words as truth or reject them as noise. When life places obstacles in your way, you can either collapse under their weight or use them as stepping stones. The choice is always yours. This is why the most powerful individuals in history were not those who never faced hardship, but those who refused to let hardship break them. They understood that their inner world was sovereign territory, and no one could enter it without their permission. Think of a fortress guarded by strong walls. The enemy may attack from every side, but unless the gates are opened from within, the fortress stands firm. Your mind and heart are that fortress. Negativity, criticism, and betrayal are arrows shot from outside, but they cannot penetrate unless you open the gate and let them in. Guarding your inner world is the key to remaining unbreakable. Every time you say, "I will not give this power to others," you reinforce your walls and protect your spirit. Resilience is built on the understanding that external events are temporary, but your response is permanent. If you allow every storm to dictate your emotions, you will remain fragile. But if you train yourself to stand tall regardless of the storm, you will discover a strength no one can steal. When others expect you to give up and you choose to continue, when they expect you to crumble and you choose to rise, you send a clear message that your spirit belongs only to you. At the end of the day, no insult, no betrayal, no failure, and no circumstance has the authority to break you. That authority lies only within yourself. You are the gatekeeper of your own strength. You decide which voices to accept and which ones to ignore. You decide whether to let circumstances crush you or to let them make you stronger. And when you truly embrace this truth, you become unshakable. No matter how fierce the storm, no matter how loud the critics, no matter how heavy the burden, you remain unbroken because you never gave them permission to break you.